Hello, everyone. It is Mark Noble from Grove with some more 25.11 updates for you. This is DIS 1453, which is related to lists and making lists be able to um, be categorized by hierarchy. So for our power staff users that might be maintaining hundreds or maybe even thousands of lists, that can get kind of cumbersome when you have to see all of them. So the idea is that you can now organize them. So let's go in and we'll look at our lists. So by default, nothing really changes. You still see all of your lists just displayed. We do have the ability now to create a new list group. So if we click that, that's going to give us the ability to select a group name. So we're going to make this reading recommendations. And then from that, so that has no recommendations in it to start. If we go into our unassigned list, so anything that's not in a group would be in the unassigned groups. And we can go in and let's go into um, let's go into our Women's History Month, and we can edit that and change the group that it's in. So we can say this is in a group of just the reading recommendations. So, and then it will show up here in the header. If you're logged in and you own this, you'll see your groups. So we can jump back to the reading recommendations. And that shows we now have the reading recommendations with one thing in it. We have unassigned lists. So within this, you can also create nested groups. So the idea is, so we can create let's create a new list group. We're going to create within reading recommendations. We're going to create an if you like, dot, dot, dot. So now we have that, and we see we've got reading recommendations with if you like. You can either create lists here as you could before, or you can create them while editing, while adding to lists. So let's create one here. So we're going to say create a new list. We're going to have this be if you like dot, 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 Bridgerton. We're going to make this public. And we are going to add it to an existing group. We're not going to add it to reading recommendations. We will add it to the reading recommendations if you like. So we'll create that. And then we see within that, we now have one title. If we do another search, so let's say, let's do a search for red, white, and royal blue. There we go. We're going to say add to list. So here we can also create a new list. So we could put it on one of our existing lists, or we create a new list. We're going to create this. We're going to call this contemporary romance. We're going to make it again public. We're going to add it to a group. So we're going to say we can either choose to add to an existing group. So we could add to one of the existing ones, or we can say create a new group. So we're going to create a new group. We're going to call this just romance. And we're going to nest that under reading recommendations as well. So let's create that. Now we see that then also has our appears on list. We can click into the list because we have that, and we can see it's in the group reading recommendations romance. We have one title. Let's go back to look at all of our lists. We can see we've got our reading recommendations. We've got if you like has one. We've got romance that has one. We still have 9 unassigned lists. Other things we can do is we can move these around. So we can rename them. So if we decided we no longer wanted this to be called reading recommendations, maybe we've evolved and it can be something else. So maybe let's just call it recommended uh, by Aspen. Um, these don't display to anybody other than the staff creating them. So um, patrons won't see these. These are really an organizational tool for the staff. So we'll just change the name of that and say it's recommended by Aspen Library. Um, and then we have our if you like and romance. Uh, so then we can move groups as well. So if we wanted to, so let's say, let's go back up to our, let's create a new list group. So in addition to recommended, maybe we are going to have a genres. So rather than grouping the recommend the contemporary romance under the recommended by Aspen Library, maybe we'll group it under genres. The idea is you have lots of flexibility. Oh, and I put that in the wrong place. So here we put if you like in genres. So if we don't like that, we can move that. So let's move that, and we're going to make that um, just a top level. So we're going to nest that under the main. So now we have genres. We've got recommended by the Aspen Library. We've got if you like and romance. Um, let's go back to this list. So if we want to change that, so when we go into the Women's History Month, we can edit this to change the group. We can say instead of this being in list group recommended by Aspen Library, um, it's not right, but we're going to move that to romance, even though that's not right. So we're going to do that. So now it's in recommended by Aspen Library romance. If we click into that, we can see all of our titles. We can also delete this group. So if we say delete this list group, then it will delete it. It will not delete the lists. Those lists will be moved to the unassigned. So that is important. So let's do that. And now you see we've got recommended by Aspen Library. We've got if you like genres. The two lists we had in the romance have now moved to unassigned. And we can see there's Women's History Month and our contemporary romance. So nice functionality there for especially our Power Staff users who are managing a ton of lists. Good way to organize them and um, be able to use Aspen a little easier. So um, thank you to Helen Plum for sponsoring this work, and we'll see you again next time. Thanks, everyone.